Ooh, give me a reason. Ooh. There we are. That's better. Should have tested the mic before we went live, huh? Good rising, good rising. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. So there's a lot I want to say. I'm magically floating on cloud 9 right now. I'm on I might be higher than cloud 9. I'm extremely happy at this moment in time. And ever since I woke up, I woke up floating. How did you sleep? I didn't fall off no side of the bed. I floated off the bed. And not because I'm high. It just was, I don't know, it feels really good outside. Energetically, it feels good. The world feels like it. I feel real balanced right now. Anybody else feel as good as I'm feeling? So imagine if I was high. Elevation. What did I do yesterday? Yesterday was I worked. That's all I did yesterday. I worked. And then I got home. I realized my kids need their own television show. And not maybe for anyone else, but for me, because I enjoy watching them and the way they interact. And the way they talk back and forth just doesn't seem like, I don't know, maybe all children do this, but they just seem like they are on a TV show every day. And all of their actions, the things that they say, it feels like they're on TV, but this is how they act as humans. So if nobody else wants to watch, I know I'm a creeper, so I'd be the one to ear hustle all day long. And that's maybe what it really is. I really just want to ear hustle what they have to do, what they're doing throughout the day, especially with school and the teachers don't I know nothing about what's going on in school. And because I'm not home by the computer, there's no update. I don't get no email. When I ask if everything's on track, it's an okay. It's shout out to all of the parents right now that are engaging in distant learning in this new realm. I cannot imagine for parents who have children that are doing, bilateral days in school and some virtual. I have no idea what that looks like. And I am so sorry for all of the parents because I am not I didn't go to school and get a degree in education, but I have a little bit of common sense. And when we got Corona as the entire globe experienced something that history will only be able to explain, we could have taken this time, and we still it's not too late. We still can say, listen, this isn't working. It's like being in a really bad relationship and it's a bad relationship, but neither one of you wants to pull out. It's really, really bad. And at some point in time, you have to say listen, this is not working at all. And we need to stop where we are and reassess and pull back and put things on pause. And we had all summer to do so. We had the entire summer to put everything on pause. Instead of using the summer to get ready for virtual learning in the fall, what we should have done, as even if it was small and we just said as BPS, as Massachusetts, as the leader of higher education in the United States of America, we are going to do something different. And we didn't. As a country, we didn't. Nothing. And we know that there are 15 other countries doing education better than us. We know that because there's an entire index that was like, there's an entire index. It's a real thing. Google it. And there's 15 other countries right now that are doing better than us in education. And at no point in time do we, as a society of the United States of America, the best of the best and the best and the best, why we don't go over there and learn from those that are clearly doing it better and implement them here in our country. And so, like, I know some school boards or some teachers get to go overseas, or they may not go overseas because of COVID. But like, as far as the pedagogies of education, why are we not seeing implementation of outside the box strategies and ideas? Because you were doing back in school didn't work in school, and that isn't going to work in front of a Zoom and having kids in front of a computer at 8 hours a day when they weren't even in front of a computer 8 hours a day prior. Do something different. You know, they on their phone. Do something on, like, it just, for me, is common sense. And we could have done this better, like, as a global community, as all of us sitting down. And there was no conversation that I've seen of like everybody coming to the table, for the city to come to the table, for education to come to the table, for parents to come to the table, for us to be at this big ass table and say, listen, we need to address this issue. How are we going to move forward? And this is education. At this moment right now, we are now preparing for like the nano everythings, nanotechnology, nano this, nano that, having like, now is the time, baby. And we dropped the ball, and it's not too late. We can pick it back up. But what's going on? The truth, it's not too late. And for some reason, I can hear one of y'all like, Tayla, you should do it. That's that. Oh, Lord. Trump and Biden going back and forth bickering. You know what? One of these days, we need to have a real conversation about leadership and leadership of our elders versus the leadership of the youth, and how there's a disconnect between the two. Like, the intergenerational conversation is not happening, is not being had. That we understand that you are elders, you came before us, you've done things a certain way, but a lot of things that y'all done hasn't worked. Let's implement some new strategies. Let's try it. Let's switch some things up. And there has to be some respect. Just because I'm young doesn't mean you get to disrespect me. So when we have conversations when it comes to the elders and the intergenerational leadership that needs to be had, it's a difficult conversation because nobody wants to bring up the fact that sometimes y'all old folks be wrong. And you're thinking wrong and you're doing wrong. Y'all, some of y'all are extremely toxic in your movement. Some of y'all are some of y'all, and you know who you are because your heart feels some type of way. I forgot that we were still connected to Bluetooth. But just wrong, right? So, I don't know. That's a soapbox. Margaret Moore. Are you still here? Can you still see my face? Can we please sit down and have lunch? I have not seen you in so long. I want to hug you. I want to squeeze them cheeks. Boo, how you doing? Yo, if you know, one of those people that you just see, and when you see them, your heart just glow up like E.T. Doo-doo, doo-doo. That's Miss Moore for me. Eminem. What's going on, boo? She's one of the most coolest, foodiest. She need to be a food critic because that girl eat everywhere. She has eaten everywhere in the city. If you ask her about any restaurant, she'll tell you who's the best waitress, what's the best drink, what's the best food, where you need to sit at. Like, she get it down. That's what you need to be paid for. So this is out the box news. Nothing about nothing, right? But something. So a lot of people don't engage with news over the pond or outside the country because as Americans, we only care about the American things, right? So For me, what happens over the water can and does happen here. Like, there's nothing new under the sun, my dude. So Nicola Sturgeon bans boozing indoors across the whole of Scotland and shuts down pubs in most of the country for at least 16 days from Friday because the numbers are increasing. And so I was on a call yesterday and the numbers have been increasing. I think this was like last week. The numbers were like people getting COVID from going to church, going to school, getting COVID from going to like parties or like things that are unsafe. And then from unsafe, it went to like nursing homes. But recently, the number one, like the report from yesterday, not the one from last week, said that the number one reason why people are getting COVID is because of workplace. And so you think for 5 seconds that we're looking at a new resurgence really soon, and it's going to be worse than the first time because we now have people feel like I had COVID, I survived COVID, it's nothing, I'm good, I'm immune. You know, my cousin had it and I didn't catch it, I'm immune. You know, you're going to have some of that come up. And we already know there's mad people that don't even wear the mask proper. Like, for real, how many times have you seen somebody not wearing their mask properly? And you might as well not be wearing a mask at all. I'm over here looking for this. Oh, here it is. So regarding COVID, so the whistleblower scientist who is blowing Trump up and talking about like how they responded to the pandemic, he is going to resign because he was demoted for warning the country. And my dude said winter is coming. He said flying blind into a very challenging winter. Dr. Rick Bright resigned on Tuesday after being demoted earlier this year. He publicly blasted the Trump administration's pandemic response. Lawyers for Bright said he was sidelined at the National Institute of Health, and he now warns the country that winter is coming, baby. Watch. And it be the whistleblowers. Do you know when you do your taxes, there's a box on your taxes that you check off if you got whistleblower money, depending, like there's an actual thing. The fact that it is on your taxes, whistleblowers don't get no respect out here. They get thrown some paper and pushed to the side, and all the whistleblowers throughout all of the years, when you look at history, were right about what they were saying and was telling the truth. And we, the public, was like, no, my boyfriend would never hit me again. He only hit me once. He only hit me once. We don't never take that warning and run with it. We don't never see red flags and like, nah, deuces, I'm out. We're the stupid one that need to experience it before we actually learn a lesson. Every time winter is coming, watch. I'm going to come back when I have to come in studio in full yellow hazmat suit, trying to give the show through a people. Like, watch, winter is coming, my dude. And everybody want to be with everybody. They want to go everywhere, do everything. Marcella want to go on 1,000,001 dates with strangers. Like, I don't. But as far as like boozing, banning indoors, I can really see us doing a serious decline in restaurants. I do think there's going to be a decline in restaurants. It's going to be an increase. And so if you about that Uber money, baby, them Uber foods, you trying to get some quick bread out here, that's where it's at, because they're going to shut down the restaurants. And I do a Uber option for 6 months from now. I would do that and watch that thing rise. I fell in love with stock. Okay. So I said that we went to the casino on Saturday. We got there, we took a picture, we left. But I think as far as like stock and options are concerned, that's my form of gambling. I think I thoroughly enjoy that more because I don't know. I like the intricacy of learning about the company. I don't know. Maybe I just shadow worked myself real quick. Somebody caught that. Somebody didn't. It's okay. Next, in other news, a woman 23 who made a horrible decision to become a male only at 17, to only detransition to be a female again, talks about her story. And so I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot of, I know unless you're in that world and you have a reason to read up or a reason to understand what's going on with the LGBTQ, like it's something that you can set aside. And if you're not engaged in it, you don't know how much is going on within that community. And there's a lot being had and being said and being politicized as far as a gender transitions and gender in prisons and gender in bathrooms and like gender in general is a hot topic in circles where it's a hot topic. And there's a lot regarding young people taking hormones and wanting to change their DNA, honestly, because when you alter your whatever you're altering through this medication, you're in a sense altering your DNA. And truly, the truth of the matter is anytime you eat anything, you're altering your DNA. Anytime you listen to something, you're altering your DNA. I want to be clear. Anytime you ingest through the eyes, the ears, the food, the lotion, like whatever it is that you ingest at any point in time is in a sense, a shape or form altering your DNA. Every time, if you eat for 28 days, nothing but lettuce and fruits and vegetables, your bones, your cells, your hair, your follicles, your molecules, your everything alters to this new compound based on what it is you've ingested. So there's a lot of conversation about young teens taking these hormones and altering their DNA. And this young lady who became a young man, who now is transitioning back into a young lady, is one of the stories that I don't think is told when the idea is pushed for you. Like, yes, get transition. She actually
place legal horse racing bets and
that was, I'm sorry. It's from what I've been exposed to, there's not enough of these conversations being had about, yes, I did do it. I advocated for others to do it. And I made a grave mistake. And I'm seeing these differences. I'm seeing like how it made my body feel, like how it changed the way I thought, how it changed this. And like, these are the things that happen when you get this thing. So it's not just like, oh, I'm so liberated. I'm now altered who I wanted to be into this thing I thought I wanted to be. Same thing with people who get plastic surgery and any type of plastic surgery, like women who complain about not every breast augmentation implants, not all breast implants go, porn star ready. Like some people are having issues and complications and all of these surgeries because it's huge now. It's a freaking fad. Everybody's body is built. Everybody. Like I be out here in my feelings. Everybody's butt is all the way up their back. Don't nobody have a belly. Everybody got flat tummy tea surgery lines. Like it's convincing. It's convincing. It is. It is. Sometimes I daydream, what am I going to do with this tax money? I'm lying. I be paying taxes though. But she was telling her story and was like, yo, y'all think you want these problems. Y'all don't want these problems. And it goes into like what happens with your vajayjay and what goes on with your breasts is like that. All that alters. You become a new human being. You want to like add some meat to make a like that is. And there's millions in America that are taking botched up. What was it? What's the show that Asaria likes? Grey's Anatomy. There was a Grey's Anatomy thing. And Asari was like, yeah, there's a lot of pills online. We looked it up. the normal pills are like $400 a pill without insurance. And so like a whole pill bottle can cost a couple thousand. And then you look at the like generic version that comes from China, B. And it's, and I've read stories. I don't know if you guys remember like the stories of the man who was grinding up rock and selling it as pepper. He was like, nobody died. So I'm thinking like they got lead paint in this. They got like, I can't even imagine what people are actually taking when you can now get $150 for some pills that are typically like $9,000. And so I'm sorry, but this is real life. And these aren't conversations that people want to have. This is real life that's going on and affecting millions of people. It may not be affecting you directly, but affecting millions of people. And we should be aware of them. Joe Biden is so creepy to me. Like, he is so weird. There's this video of him. So he's in Haiti, right? He visited Little Haiti's Cultural Center. And there's these women that are dancing. Some of them are older, some of them are younger, some of them are children, like 8, 9 years old. And in this video, he says to the little girls, he said that he will be back. What's sad is I have to leave. But the thing is I'll be back. And I want to see you guys dancing in 4 years from now, when you're 4 years older. I'm trying to find a video so I could just play the video for you. Like, that's your dude. Y'all want to vote for him. And it's not just this one time. Like, there have been many videos, like the way he be caressing on folks. I don't know. It is mad creepy to me.
Gentlemen, the good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And I want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older, too. So it's great to see you. So thank you.
But why y'all laughing, though? That's inappropriate. Why you are not about to talk about these children like that. That's what you're not going to do. Hold on. I just want to be clear. Okay? I just want to be clear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And I want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older, too.
It's just me or nah? Is that just me? Elevation Allah, what's going on? How did you find this channel at first? You like the fact that it's lives in Texas, things are picking up. I heard Texas got a whole new strand, like a whole new strand that never existed before because of something with the wind and it's like more contagious.
With TwinSpires.com, place legal horse racing bets and watch live races.
Lord, there you go. That's how you can control that. Texas is picking up. What did I stumble into? A lot. You stumble into a lot over here. What's going on, Billy? Billy Ray. What's going on, Uncle Jerome? I will tell my daddy what's up. We got another half hour before we call daddy. Maybe we should call him and warn him that we are calling him and that. Oh, the sneakers I want are on sale. Oh, I want them. I'm an 8. I'm a size 8, but I think I want kids 7. Are there kids 7s? Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had a moment. Let's call daddy and see if he's available now. I called Nana today. I had a conversation with Nana, and while I was talking to her, I felt bad because I felt like you guys should have been there. You already know what my thoughts on weed is. You think I'm tripping on Biden? I want to see you pretty girls dancing in 4 years. You think I'm tripping?
Hey, baby.
Hi, Daddy.
What's going on?
You sound weird.
Oh, I got you. I just put you on speaker now. How's
That's still horrible.
that? Better.
Yes.
Okay. What's going on with you?
Daddy, you know they over here calling for you. Call your daddy. Call your daddy. Uncle Jerome said, "What up, E?"
What's up, man? Hey, you need Jerome Abraham?
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. I got her.
Yeah,
He
Uncle
came to the house
Jerome
too.
supports me, Daddy.
And what? I know he do.
And creepy ass. What's creepy ass? What was the creep's name? He follow me too. He makes sure I'm good. He checking on me.
Oh, I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
I forgot his name too.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I hope they don't come get me. I don't listen. I have ignorance. I am speaking out of ignorance. I'm not speaking out of blasphemous or bias. I'm speaking out of ignorance. I know it's a lot. I know enough to know that. Daddy, I was just talking about sex changes and breast augmentation, and apparently that's not a great comparison to the LGBTQ community, and it was in no offense, like it was not purposefully to be blasphemous. But Daddy, as far as the question, so my dude said that he was in jail and he spent some time in jail and he was young and he made a mistake and now he want his girl back. And she's like, how would he go about proving to her that like he deserves her, he wants her back?
He's got to show her more than talk about it. He's got to start doing things and just showing her. You know, that's hard because when you lose somebody and you know you screwed up and you want to, it's fun. You have to change their behavior that cost you to lose them. That's one. They have to change, and you got to give them time to adapt to your change. And you got to be prepared that they may, what the offense was that caused the breakup or the separation or the divorce or whatever it may be. Some folks just have a tough time forgetting.
Daddy, you're breaking up.
I am sorry.
You sound like you don't have. You sound like you don't have service. That's what kind of breaking up you're doing.
Yeah.
But he was in jail, but he went to college. That's what it was. He went to college, Daddy. And during this time in college, I guess for me, what was that movie? What was that TV show with Tracy Morgan?
You want to get there?
Daddy, I might have to drop you and call you back.
Hey, give me about 2 minutes and call me back.
Okay, we'll do that. My bad. It's called college. You went to college. Daddy, I thought you said you were going to call back in 10 minutes. Father? Maybe he butt dialed us. Oh, yay. How exciting. But I really do, Bill, I feel like prison is college. Like if no matter what you go to prison for, you come out more intelligent than you walked in. It is a form, the last OG. Yes. And he was trying to get Shay back. So Daddy's not on the phone, but as a female, I think like first and foremost, he is wearing her down and being active in her life. And like, who she is at her core. If you guys like were together at one time, who she is at her core. She might have changed whether you were in college for a year or 15 years. Like her core of who she is the same. And if you know that of her, then you know what she loves, you know what she likes, her. And so remember who she is and cater to that. But at the same time, the sexiest thing on earth to a woman is for you to take care of your business. Like for you, that is on by far. You could be the ugliest man on earth, but you taking care of your business, just like that is why women, the whole idea of women being gold diggers is funny to me, but it's also like I get it, but I don't get it, because if our DNA has memory, because it remembers who we are when we were born, but it also remembers that we ate these 28 days of vegetables, and so we had a little alteration, but at our core, we are the same. And if our DNA has memory and I'm remembering of those that came before me, I know that I want the strongest, most fitting, most, I'm still a creature of nature. I'm still an animal in my nature, right? And so I want the one who is going to take care of me, in a sense, the one that's going to make sure that whatever needs to be done is done, and it's handled the way that it should be handled. Like there's not going to be no pussyfooting. That's not a bad word, right? Because that's like a thing. I don't know. But you're not going to be like half stepping in order to get things done. Like you're going to do what needs to be done, period. And so for a man to take care of him and to take care of the things that need to be done, that really speaks volumes. You like flower this and gift that and, poem this or phone call that or dinner. Like that's great. But what are you doing for you? Like, how can you make sure if all hell breaks loose, we're good? Like how am I good or am I good? So we just, as far as me and mine are concerned, I understand that females do want a sense of security, even that like I need to know that mentally I'm secure, emotionally I'm secure. I'm not talking about just making sure bills are paid. Like I can pay bills. I don't mean like that. Like just everything is good. If I come to you, there's an issue, there's a problem, there's a solution. Especially if I don't have one. You got that. That's the easy part. Then you can only do what you can do and pray that she knows your heart. And I have questions, but I'm not trying to put your business out there. You feel me? Like I have questions about like how long were y'all together for? When did y'all break up? Did she support you for the first couple years, for the first couple months that you went to college? Like, how did all that work out? And what did you do or could have done that's the hard part? We're like, what's the hard part, Bill? The easy, you said you got that. That's all easy. What's the hard part? 7 years is a long time. 7 years is a long time. All this stuff will be over after election. What you mean? You think coronavirus gonna be done after election? Is coronavirus just gonna go away after election? It's gonna be done up. Hold on. Let's put some money on this elevation. Let's put some money on this. It's gonna be done. That's gonna be finished. I hope all y'all can see these comments. Some of these comments are coming in from YouTube. I don't know if Facebook can see these comments. Came home and my social skills suck. There's an app for that. Like I don't mean that jokingly. I mean that seriously. Like there's an app for that, and you can practice on complete strangers. Yo, I mean that though. I mean that. Like use the app Complete Strangers to like feel out your social skills. What makes you comfortable? How do you like to like and it doesn't have to be people who you feel are going to judge you. It can be people you will never speak to again, so you can, freely do what you want to do. It's like going out of town and dancing to country music. Like no one is seeing me do this right now, and nobody's gonna know unless I snitch on myself, which I tend to do often. Institutionalized. Hold on, did they like? You spent a good time in the whole type institutionalized? I feel like this is now time for a therapist, and I feel like I am no longer fit to speak on this subject at all, like seriously, because that is I will never know, unless I go to prison, I will never know your experience. And there is no amount of conversation, book reading, or like empathy that will make me understand what it is that you and many others, Khalif Browder, have been put through. And so I do think that there is a conversation that needs to be had and should be had, and isn't had enough or even supported when the conversation is brought to surface. I don't think there is enough support when it comes to like family and from the system. I do think system should also be a pillar of support when it comes to having conversations about what is actually happening to people mentally that serve time. And so regardless of your crime, there is no reason why you should have to suffer mentally for whatever crime that you have committed, especially when you're already serving that time physically. You're already serving that time away from family. You're all like the levels and layers of I want to say like not brainwashing, but like the form of brainwashing that is done. It's sort of like militant in its approach. And I really do feel like we should have a therapist on here because we have multiple listeners. Oh, thank you, Shamara. I'll fix that. I don't know how, but I'll fix it. There are multiple people that are affected when someone serves time. And we as a society have the highest criminal justice when it comes to like imprisoning people. We imprison people at a higher rate than any country, all the countries freaking combined. Like that's how bad we are in imprisoning our citizens. And so we never speak as a community about what it is that happens to the family unit, to the family structure, financially, emotionally, mentally. We don't talk about all of those that are affected by one person being imprisoned. And I could go on a soapbox about how much money it costs to speak to somebody who's in prison, the amount of money that they have to pay to get like regular normal food that's not nasty. Like it's ridiculous. And the emotional warfare, that's what I'm thinking, like the mental and emotional warfare that happens to people that are institutionalized. Like that's a whole real topic for a whole nother day. And so as far as, damn, Bill, this is, you're going to have to inbox me. Inbox me, Bill. Send me a message, please. Thank you. That went left real quick. But Daddy said to call him back. And I know other people have relationship questions. So for those who don't know, I share my daddy. I think I have an amazing dad. I have amazing cousins. Like all my male perspective is so rational. Like it's, as females, we can get a little irrational. Sometimes we just be in our feelings. And the men in my life remind me of like how much your feelings don't matter. This is reality. This is what this is how we are going to conduct ourselves. This is what rational people do. This is how you move forward. And so I share my daddy regularly with my friends, my female friends, my male friend. Like I share my daddy with people. And most of the time, the people I share my daddy with don't have daddies of their own. And so I thought that would be a dope concept to kind of lend my daddy's ear to people who want to have a male perspective, but don't like. It's really hard right now to find OGs. And by OGs, I mean, it's really difficult to find people that have that old school mindset, that aren't brainwashed by society to think stupid things, and like are free thinkers, are intelligent, are, business savvy, that know how to move and know how to speak to people. Like it's far few and in between that you have a group of well-meaningful humans, because this new group of humans is weird. We'll give Daddy a minute because he said he was going to give us a call back. I don't know how we fell down that rabbit hole, but I would like to crawl out now. Yo, can we please laugh at something? So Kellyanne Conway is, nobody likes Kellyanne, right? And it's funny to me that even in her own house, she has an informer. Like her daughter be recording her and putting her on blast, be asking her questions and snitching. Like, yo, the fact that you have a pure snitch in your house, be like, could you imagine being a national, international personification and your daughter just keeps snitching on you? Like, yo, you're recording me, aren't you, you little bastard? Like, it's, yo, it's horrible though. And the truth, like, it just goes to show, like, kids are really, I have this conversation with my children all of the time. Just because I'm younger than you, just because I'm littler than you, doesn't mean that you get to bully me. It doesn't mean that you get to treat me inhumanely. Like, my kids hate for somebody to treat them like kids. Because they're like, we're just tiny humans. This has nothing to do with age. Because a lot of these kids come and they have all of this wisdom and understanding and maturity, and you can't really talk to them like they're kids because they are tiny humans. And Kellyanne Conway talking to her kid like a kid because this baby is recording her mother, posting it on social media, and Kellyanne is getting caught up. So I just, as a parent, it sucks. I could not imagine. Y'all would be like, my head would be on a stake somewhere if somebody recorded all the conversations I have with my kids. Them just be hella inappropriate at all times. But I guess it's because I treat them like tiny humans. But Kellyanne is going to send her daughter to boarding school. I can feel that in my bones. Yeah, I can feel that one in my bones. That's where she'll be off to, boarding school. She's not here right now. She can't record nothing. She can't hear nothing. But watch the daughter have like a teddy bear cam, a nanny cam teddy bear in the living room and still get her mother on blast. Donald Trump announced that he has authorized the total declassification of all documents related to Hillary's email scandal and the Russian hoax after calling the FBI scum. He went on a Twitter frenzy on Tuesday after he was released from the hospital on Monday. He said he would approve a standalone bill for individual stimulus checks. I'm going to clear all the hoax and everything. I'm going to clear all that up, and then everyone's going to get a check after the election. After the election, I'm going to give everyone a check. You know what I want him to declassify? Declassify Area 51. Declassify Kennedy's shooting. Declassify, I think they declassified a lot of Martin Luther King Jr. stuff. Declassify Malcolm X. Declassify that project in Virginia where time travel happened and the United States government engaged in time travel. Declassify those facts, please. Declassify the Mexican border patrol. At one time there was a dual agency between America and Mexico, and it was like specifically Texas, the Texan border, where there was a lot of UFO activity going on, and every country in the world has an understanding that UFOs exist, unidentified flying objects. There's like 1 million Earths in the universe, and you think for 5 seconds we're the only ones. You got it. Like, I am a conspiracy theorist, but I don't believe like spaceships are gonna come and save us. Like, that's not the wave. But what is the wave is believing and knowing for a fact that we have freaking pyramids that are built, and we have no idea how these motherfuckers were built. Like, we don't know to this day how they were built, but we know exactly what Jesus said. Remember that meme I brought up last week? Seriously, At some point in time, there was technology on this earth that no longer exists on this earth, or we forgot something, or whatever have you. Whatever it is, the pyramids have planes, rockets, and helicopters on them. Like, you cannot tell me that there are no species that exist outside of us. We have yet to even discover what's in our deepest part of our oceans, my dude. Like, we know nothing about the oceans. We know nothing about space. The United Nations has a point of contact for alien communication. There is a point of contact. If ever we have UFO, alien, outsiders, what have you. If there's ever a point of contact, the United Nations has a point of contact. That's who declassify all of that. I don't care about the Russian hoax. I don't care about Hillary's email scandal. Like, this does not advance my life. Like, it does nothing for me. If you want to declassify something, declassify Kennedy. I'd love to know the truth behind that. Mike Pence agrees to having a plexiglass barrier at the VP debate with Kamala Harris tonight. There is a drive-through in the city of Boston that you can drive in and come and watch the debate with other people in the community. And there's food trucks. And there's music, and I'm trying to think of what else was on the flyer. But tonight, I think you have to, it's free. It's completely free for you to go. The food is not free. You have to buy that. But if you go to Bartlett Yard in Roxbury, you can go and watch the debate tonight with other Black people from the community. I'm really not interested. I think I'm just going to watch the clips because I don't want... When you become a certain age, you stop doing things that you no longer want to do. It's daddy. Hello, father. No, you still sound like horrible. You sound horrid.
Okay.
Like
How's
you're
that?
underwater.
How's that?
That's better.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, back to your question. You was away at college or not there?
Daddy, he went to jail. But I just called it college.
Okay. What is the difference in him and that too? How you handle that?
Daddy, we're going to have to call you another day because it's not working for us.
My connection is terrible?
Yeah. The universe said, not today.
Not today. Blocking.
I called Nana today, though. I spoke to Nana.
Okay. She's doing good?
She is well.
Yeah.
And I called Kevin, and Kevin was unavailable.
Yeah. Okay.
But I love you, Daddy, and we will call you later.
Love you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I didn't hear anything he just said. What did I do? Did I talk too close? Is that what it is? WhatsApp in the inbox. I love WhatsApp. It's encrypted, so nobody can hear my conversation. No one can read my conversation. I love WhatsApp. If you don't have WhatsApp, download WhatsApp. It's very similar to, I don't know how to, it's a texting app that you can use internationally. And so if you have any family internationally, you can call them for free. You can FaceTime them for free. You can text them for free. As long as they have Wi-Fi and you have either Wi-Fi or internet access, get you WhatsApp. America has a particular reason why they deny the existence of UFOs. Teach me something, Elevation Allah. Please teach me something. I want to know. Elijah Muhammad spoke about spacecraft back in the early 1900s. He said it was Black people up there who was going to destroy America. Oh, what? I don't understand that. White folks got shook after that and locked them up for a few years. I was unaware that that was a thing. Please send me that news article or whatever book that is. I'm interested in reading that. I want to know. Can we please talk about your boy Bill Gates? Your boy Bill Gates says rich countries could be back close to normal by the end of 2021 if COVID-19 vaccine is approved soon, and he slammed the FDA for being weak, even though the FDA is trying to put in measures and stipulations. The government's like, no regulations. None. It's a real thing. Like, it's absolutely insane that is what our government is currently engaging in right now. But Microsoft founder, like, how did we put this man in charge of vaccines in like the world? How is he a part of who? The World Health Organization. How is he rubbing elbow? Just because you have money does not make you a scientist or a doctor. The founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, claimed on Tuesday that richer countries could be returning close to normal by the end of 2021, but it will only happen. He said, so he's like, you'll only go to heaven if you declare me king. It will only happen if coronavirus vaccine is ready soon and distributed properly on a large scale. He added that stopping the transmission worldwide could take up to 3 years. Gates, who is 64 years old, warned that the U.S. must be preparing now to eradicate any public reluctance over taking a vaccine. That is scary. If you're not scared, he also hit the FDA for not being stronger than you. Like, I expected you to be stronger than this. Like, I'm really concerned about why you think it's okay for you to figure out how to mandate a vaccine. Like, we don't have any mandatory vaccines anywhere in the United States, and now all of a sudden you want to mandate this one. Like, it's like getting the flu shot. It's going to be ever changing every day. It's going, like, every year we're going to have to guess on what the strand mutated into and how we're going to fight it. No. People are leaving their jobs right now because their jobs are mandating, like, when the vaccine comes out, you have to get this vaccine. And people are leaving their job like, nah, that's not what's popping. This is real life. I can't believe it's real life. And I can't. Atlanta police offer a reward in the murder of actor Thomas Jefferson Bird. Remember the gentleman that was in the Spike Lee movies that I said on Monday he got shot? Well, the police are now offering a reward because they believe it was, a murder. And so they have no leads. They have no nothing. And if anybody has any information, like, please share it. They are giving a reward for anyone who can give them anything, because right now they have nothing. That is sad. Like, I pray to sweet black baby Jesus that they find out who murdered him and why. And I understand, like, he may not have been making millions of dollars, but he definitely was getting some type of royalty check. Maybe it wasn't like making him rich, but just being who he was, I don't see why he wouldn't have, like, some sort of simple security system. Like, it doesn't have to be he had a whole bodyguard. I do know in Atlanta on one street, it's very much like Dorchester in the sense of, like, on one street, it could be $500,000 houses, and on the next street, there's a bunch of crack houses. So I don't know. I pray they find whoever murdered him. And what I really pray for, actually, is that they don't get a slew of phone calls of people trying to just pass off BS in order to, because they don't understand a reward don't mean you tell us anything and we pay you. A reward means that you give us information leading to us finding this mother, and then you get rewarded for the information that helped us solve the case. Like, I pray that they don't get a bunch of phone calls of people trying to get rich real quick. Joe Biden called calls for unity and racial justice at his Gettysburg speech. The Democratic presidential nominee says that there could be both support for racial justice and law enforcement in his Gettysburg address, which is true. Like, at the end of the day, it's very much true. We can support police officers. I have police officers in my family. I have close friends that are police officers. Like, I can support a police officer, but still support the fact that you're not putting your knee in people's neck. You're not being racist. You're not being biased. You're being fair and equal. You know, like, I really soapbox. So for me, I miss the Andy Griffiths of police. Even when you take a look at the old Cops TV shows, and Cops is coming back out, even though they stopped it after George Floyd. They stopped airing Cops like that. But Cops is like the longest running television show ever. And that was actually in like when you do trivia. That was actually a trivia question. That's how I know that. But Cops is the longest standing, long running show ever to have lasted on television. And even in the beginning of Cops, when you look at any of the early 80s and 90s versions of Cops, like the Cops were really fair and they were really just. Like, the fact that we even have it on film when a lady was like, he stole my money after I was trying to buy crack. Oh, is that what happened? Yes. I came over here with $20 and I gave him the 20. Like, the fact that it was just like, well, I have to take you to jail, right? But why? Because you just admitted to trying to buy crack. But I don't want to go to jail. I understand, but I have to, like, it was mad humane. They talked to them like they were human. Even like the people that they had to run and chase down still got some form of humane treatment to them. And I missed the police officer or the idea of the police officer that would drive you home when, like, come on, Steven, I know you're drunk. Follow me. I'll make sure you get home safely. Like, what happened to that? Like, actually protecting and serve and knowing your community and actually wanting the police that are in the community to be a part of the community. Like, what happened to that aspect of it all? I remember being young and having like a neighborhood police officer that used to like come drive around and just check on things. I actually remember him being black too. So, I remember that relationship as a child. And I'm wondering, like, why are we not striving for that anymore? Why are we not demanding that of our police officers? Well, Tyrone want to be a police officer. He live in this neighborhood. Why can this not be the neighborhood and that's how police are? Those are illusions. That's why. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see police officers, because now all you have to do is live in the community for 10 years or actually have an address in the city of Boston for 10 years. And then after you have a city of Boston address for 10 years, you can move wherever you want to move. But why is it like these are city dollars? I saw a video of, I believe it was in Chicago, a gentleman talking about increasing the budget for Chicago police officers and giving them a raise. And then he was talking about how like all these Chicago police officers, none of them live in Chicago. It's like 10% of them are Chicago police officers, giving them a raise of the tax-paying dollars so they could take it back to their white suburban towns. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I don't see how it makes sense here in Boston either, when a lot of our police officers don't live in the city of Boston. Our firefighters don't live in the city of Boston. They might have a Boston address that they rent out of, that their parents live out of, but they themselves do not live in the city of Boston. So they don't have a love for the city like we have a love for the city outside of the sports teams that they get tatted on them. But I just am annoyed with the fact that we have people in our communities that are police officers that are not policing the communities that they live in. And we as a city, but when you take a look at Chinatown's police officers are all Asian. In the city of Boston, I don't think there's too many South Boston police officers that look like me. Tell me if I'm wrong. I could correct me and learn me something. I remember when we had a conversation with the superintendent of the MBTA police officers. I can see his face. Kenny. I can see Kenny's face right now of the MBTA police. They were mad. Commissioner of the MBTA police, they were mad because he was on the show talking about how more than 73% of the MBTA police are white. And he is going to diversify them. And they got so mad, so up in arms that he was like, they're starting a race war. They tried to fire Ken. I'm asking rhetorical questions. I know the answers. I don't like the answers. He said, for those who don't know, so Elevation is over here on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and post it so you guys can see. He said he spoke about it in The Fall of America, going back to Elijah Muhammad speaking about the spacecraft in the early 1900s. And he was black people were going to come down and destroy America. And that book is called The Fall of America. He said Bill Gates is a eugenist. If they force us to take the vaccine, it's going to be problems. Bill Gates is a typical white supremacist who wants to earn the profit at black people's expense. And, they actually tried to do some testing in Africa. Hold on, I don't want to make this up. Africa being a testing site. It was a whole in French. They were on air in French saying what we need to do is do some testing in Africa because, there's less barriers. Where is this damn article? It was bad. And the thing about it is I never saw, so this was on BBCC, and you can get BBCC on your cable television if you purchase it. It's a different type of package. And so I watch on online because I don't have no cable and haven't had cable for years. But I was watching online what they were talking about, and I read a lot of international news, but when it came to America, this never even, it wasn't even a thing. But it was French scientists that were talking about doing testing in Africa because there's less barriers. You could just go in there and test and won't nobody ask you any questions. That's where we need to go to finding a vaccine, because we can just, and it was crazy because it was huge and up in arms and everybody was upset in France, in Europe, but the United States didn't even. And so I say that to say, you think that we here in America are the only black people suffering. I need you to understand that we are not. Globally, black people as a whole are suffering. And even when you take a look at the story that I read the other day with the 4-year-old child that was raped and her parents left her in the street to tell the people, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Kids is being raped and the police are doing nothing about it because what was it? 4 million people in this lower caste system. It was more than, I feel like it was 400 million because they have billions of people in India. I feel it was 400 million people in the lower caste system, and all of them are chocolate. All of them are dark skinned. That's one of the criterias of being in the caste. How light are you? You're super dark. Okay. You're all the way down here. Oh, you have money. Okay. You might be here. So black people across the globe are treated inhumanely everywhere we go. And so I'm going to find this art. It was a video. I'm going to find the video, and in captions, I love captions, by the way. Does anybody else watch movies, TV, and captions? People hate me for it. Tayla, it's annoying. I don't need to read. I can hear. But I enjoy reading like the written script of the show and being mad at the writers of like, that was dumb. Why did am I the only? Yeah, I need multi-layers to things. I can't just watch TV. I want to watch it and read it and dissect it all at the same time. My mind works differently. But Puerto Rico governor endorses Trump. I think this is so important, and nobody is really talking about it in the capacity that I think that we should be talking about it. But for a Puerto Rican governor to say that they are endorsing Trump, I am wondering how much is going to be done to this province that he is governing or she is governing, because you better not be endorsing Trump and he ain't giving you no money. That's really what I want to say. What I want to say is you better not be out here cooning, jiving, shucking, and your ass ain't getting paid. So I am just praying that Governors Wanda Vasquez Providence is going to get all of the money that they deserve from the hurricane that we still ain't fixed. And I was reading an article the other day that was talking about Louisiana and how Louisiana is still no better than, what was the thing? What was the hurricane? And when the levees broke? Oh gosh, yes, that was my documentary. Spike Lee is a effing genius. When the levees broke. Y'all watch that? Boy, I had that thing on bootleg, all 4 DVDs, because it was like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 of When the Levees Broke. And that documentary kind of opened my eyes to what was really going on in the South. And still, they have not, you know, when I follow a story through and through. And there's people still living in the 9th Ward that are still underwater, like houses that are still underwater. Like not much has changed. They went ahead and took over what they could take over. That part got gentrified like crazy. Governor Wanda Vasquez, your people better be getting some bread out here playing with Trump. But it's also important because now you have to look at how many families here, Puerto Rican families here, that have ties to Puerto Rico. Like Puerto Rico is able to maintain the way that she does, very similar to Haiti, because of the remittance. And the remittance are the financial or the goods and services that we as Americans give back. So when you see, like when Jamaicans or Haitians or any West Indians or Africans send barrels, when they send barrels back home, that's, you know, goods that they can sell for money. Sometimes it's food that they can sell. Like regardless of what it is, it's a good or a service or even some financial money that they can then transfer. And that remittance is Haiti would be in shambles and in ruins if we did not have so many Haitian Americans sending boxes and barrels and shoes and clothes and appliances and curling irons and sheets and like the amount of everything that is sent overseas. And so the amount of people that have ties back to Puerto Rico that are now being influenced by family members, like, oh, Trump is helping us. He's, you know, this is what he's doing for us. It's just like, okay, if he's doing that for you, you know, I support him for doing those things for you. So I'm going to support him in my vote. Like that's important. And it's not being discussed. It's not being talked about. When I take a look at, like, as far as Joe Biden's campaign, when you say you want to win, like you're not doing winning things, my dude. Like the things that they're doing are not, in my eyes, really trying to secure the presidency. Like it's like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. Like it's really nonchalant in the campaign, just from how I feel about the situation. Katrina, thank you. You're right. I forgot about the name, but I knew the stories. Rihanna apologizes after backlash for using Islamic text in her lingerie show in lingerie. Why is it spelled like that? Lingerie. Nowhere does that say lingerie. We understand that we may have hurt many of our Muslim brothers and sisters, and I am incredibly disheartened by this. I will keep my comments to myself because I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke, but I do have questions. Like, she said that it was an honest yet careless mistake. And I'm trying to the song Doom contained a remix recording of Islamic hadith, a religious text that represents teachings and sayings attributed to Prophet Muhammad. And so she used it part of the soundtrack. But for me, I guess I don't understand why it's considered disrespectful. Is it disrespectful because it's religious text in a lingerie show? Is it disrespectful because it's religion that was remixed? Like, what is the actual disrespect to it? Because I'm thinking about Christians. Kanye created a whole thing called a hymn, and nobody got up in arms about it. I don't know, and the whole entire Muslim community was like, nah, unacceptable, complete disrespect. Fix it right now. Fix it. And she was like, oh, yes, I'm sorry. But I don't see Christians disrespecting Christianity and for us to be like, change it now. Because there's been so many songs that have been disrespectful. Kanye West wrote Jesus Walks. Nobody, I don't remember that being controversy. Nas did a whole video with him carrying the cross. Wasn't nobody disrespected? If it was a small enough disdain for it that it was not even in the news. I read the other day that Tamron Hall's Emmy Award-winning talk show was under scrutiny because she was being sued for $17 million because of the vaccine show. That was yesterday, not Monday, right? And the Black woman got her show renewed for a third season. So I wanted to highlight that because as a Black woman, I think that is absolutely amazing. She is over here being sued and is currently not in the brightest of lights in the media, and her show was still renewed for a third season. So I just want to say shout out to you, boo. Congratulations, get them dollars. While still talking about whatever the hell you want to talk about. I love it. That is my soul sister right now. In other news, I really want to call Daddy back though. In other news, I am really excited to report that Master P. So if those that don't know, when I was 13, how old was I? I forgot. How old was I when I met Master P? And I was like, Daddy, I think that's Master P. Daddy, I think that's Master P. He was like, who's Master P? I was like, make him say, oh. He was like, what? What? And then on top of that, let me tell you how bad I was. So I had.
Hey, babe.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, is that better?
Yeah, that's 100% better. Daddy, you remember when I met Master P?
Yes.
So I was just talking about Master P in the news because he is coming out with a cereal called Hootie Hoos.
You got to be kidding.
No, Daddy, he has forever. Master P is I admire him so much. I sell books out my trunk because Master P sold
yes, you did.
Records. So tapes, not even records. He sold tapes out his trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. I pop the trunk and sell books. I really do though, on the side of the road. But he came out with some Hootie Hoo cereal.
It's a cereal. Wow.
Yeah, a cereal. Hootie Hoos. A Black-owned cereal, Daddy. Isn't that dope?
That's fat.
It is. So he has tropical fruit and marshmallow. So it's sort of like a Captain Crunch type thing. No, he has one that is, what is that called? Lucky Charms. So he has one that's like Lucky Charms and one that's like apple cinnamon. What are those? Jacks? Apple Jacks?
Yeah, Applejack.
Apple Jacks. So he has one that's like an Apple Jacks and one that's like a marshmallow.
Like
Lucky
Lucky
Charms. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Hootie hoos.
Hilarious.
Ah. Okay, Daddy, let's talk about these relationships though. Even though we're mad late. So where's my mama? Is my mama available?
She is home and I'm at work.
And she's probably working at home.
Yes, she is working from home.
Mm-hmm. I love, for those who know that I once upon a time was trying to sell my daddy for a size 8 shoe. He is currently married and I love my stepmama, but she don't wear a size 8. She wears a 7. But when you guys went on a date, she put down her foot and she said, what'd she say, Daddy? No, you.
Oh, she said, don't start nothing, but don't do it if you want, you don't plan on doing forever. So basically, don't do anything short term that you're not going to do long term.
And
don't
you were
open
okay
the
with
door
that?
for me once or twice. Yeah, because that makes sense. You know, because like you said in the beginning, we are trying to floss and show you the representative side of ourselves. We're going to do those chivalrous things early on in the dating process. You know, we're going to open the door and be nice, pull your chair around, and be all courteous and do all that. But 8 months in, 6 months in, 3 months in, we stop doing that because now that we've got you, you're thinking we ain't got to continue to do those things that we did in the beginning. And she was not for that. And so when I knew that, I was like, okay, I was fine with that. And she said the same thing. She said, I'm not going to do anything that I'm not going to always do while we're dating. And since we've been married, it's been the same process.
So you recently got a 5-year anniversary ring. Daddy, I didn't get a 30-year life ring.
Really? Sorry, you didn't get that in the mail?
I did not get my, I am so glad I brought you into the world 30 years ago ring.
I don't know there was such a thing.
Yes, Daddy. Actually, it's in the form of a necklace, okay? I will take necklaces, bracelets, bangles.
Okay. We'll have to do something for the next big moment, for the next turn. What is it? I'm not going to say it out loud. I
can say it out loud.
You can say it.
What did Nas said? I'm 40 and I still look 20.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm a Nari sister. That's what I am.
Yep.
But you dated for a long time though?
With Val?
No, just period. Like for a long time.
Yeah.
You were damn near single my whole life, and then you turned, the age that you turned and got married. Like who gets married at that age?
Somebody who's looking to get married. I was actually actively searching for a wife during that period of time up to when I met Valerie. I knew her years before that, but up until those 2-3 years when I decided, you know what, I'm getting old, I need to slow down, settle down, find me a life partner. And I went actively searching for a wife.
What does a man do when he's actively searching for a wife? And is there so do men just do men things and then one day you say, I'm actively searching for a wife? Is that the problem that women have? Like we're looking for men that are not actively looking?
Correct.
Oh,
yes.
What?
Well, you have to, for women, I tell women, you go into any relationship knowing what do you want out of it? What do you want to get out of this relationship? I mean, from the first date, you got to ask yourself, what's my long-term goal? What's my investment? What's my time worth? When you're young, it's too much new. I'm out playing around, having all this good stuff. Yeah, but there's a point in time where you have to realize, okay, now I've been there, done that, got the picture, now I need to settle down and start thinking about my future. And unfortunately for me, it took till I hit my late 40s to get to that point. But it took me to my late 40s to get mature enough to realize, okay, now I need to find somebody to try to settle down. What are some of the characteristics that I need in my wife? So when I started looking and asking questions and going through that dating process, that I'm finding viable candidates, for lack of a better term. And it wasn't as easy as I make it seem. It was difficult because I wasn't looking for just the superficial surface things. I was looking for something a little more deeper.
Okay.
You know, what's your
So when you made the decision that you were going to now actively search for a wife, were you still doing looking for wife things?
Yes, I was. I was still looking for. Yes, if I'm understanding you. So I wasn't just dating women. I was dating them, and there was a lot of back and forth questioning, trying to see where their head was at, what their mindset was like, what their lifestyle was like, and see if it measured up to where I was going and what my lifestyle was like.
Were you smashing while you were actively looking for a wife, Daddy?
Yes and no.
No, that's not it. That's not the way this works.
Okay. No, I wasn't. But, men are still men and women are still women and things happen. And so I was making it a point to avoid as much of that as possible and letting them know up front that that wasn't part of my program. But, things happen, it gets late, and before you know it, wham, bam, thank you. So,
Daddy. Yo, Uncle Jerome said that you set him up. Uncle Jerome said he was not actively looking. You set him up.
Oh, that's my man. Yeah. It is because of me that he met his current wife some 14, 15 years ago, and they're still married to this day. But now his situation and mine was different. At the time when he met his wife, I was dating her friend, and I thought that they would be a good couple, at least to go out on dates with. I just introduced him. Now, what happened after that? That's on him.
Uncle Jerome, my daddy said he wanted you to go on some dates. He didn't tell you to marry her.
But I love his wife. She's a great person. I love her deeply. So she's all right by me. But yeah, so when you start dating and you start looking for something for a life partner, you have to let them know what you are dating for. When you start telling women, I'm looking to settle down, get married, one of the biggest questions I was telling women was, I don't want any more children.
Nah, you said, I can't have no more kids. Hey,
well,
that's I can't. I don't. It don't matter how many you want. I can't have any.
But you'd be surprised at how many that were still either, I hate saying childless, but that were in their late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s that didn't have any children, but that was still wanting something. And I was like, no, I'm not going to get this reversed. That's just not in my game plan. And even in dating, looking for a wife, it was like, okay, at the time, Alex was, I think, she had just hit her 20s. She was over the age, but I was meeting a lot of women with children younger than her. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to get involved with somebody that still got kids that are, I'm not talking like teenagers, I mean like under 10.
Child rearing still. They still need a child rearing.
Yeah, they need a lot of child rearing, 3, 4, 5 years old, And that was something that was just, I wasn't ready to step back into, being a full-time dad and having to raise a child that was 12, not 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In my mind, I'm thinking they're going to be in the house for another 10, 12, 15 years. No, I got grandkids. No. So that was just one of those criteria when we were dating, and that would come up, and I'm like, nah. I didn't say it in so many words, but I made it known that, that's not what I'm looking for. Most understood.
Were there any that
Mhm.
had kids that like you kind of was like, damn, I might, could be worth it?
Mm,
That means no.
one.
Oh,
No,
one?
there was one. There was one. Yep. She had three kids that were, college age, middle school, and elementary that had worked out. I gave that some serious consideration.
I know this one.
No,
Hmm.
no, we never got past the initial dating stage. We talked for a while, but we never officially like got past one. I think we went on one date, and that was it. We've talked throughout that time frame.
Daddy, I've met less than 4 women.
That's the plan. That's always been my plan. You know that.
Less than 4. Hold on. And I can only count the one from when I was a baby because pictures exist.
Okay.
So it's really 3. It's really 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was a reason for that because it's just, when I knew I was out there dating a lot of women, I didn't want you to get confused. Like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, 8? No, you never could say that you saw a lot of women. You only saw the
I
ones
saw
at
3.
that time. You saw 3, and at that time they were serious in my life. But all the other ones, no. Mm-mm. And even Alex did the same thing. And I love how that fact I asked you and Alex this question, and y'all came up with nicknames for all. With your 3, you gave them all nicknames. You couldn't remember their real name, but you gave them nicknames. The one that messed up your outfit on the 4th of July.
Listen, Daddy, she don't even count. I don't even like her.
That was hilarious. That was funny.
It was not. Mm-hmm. And then the chick, I never liked none of them. I never.
No, you didn't.
Charisse, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you liked her.
I had my reasons.
Daddy, that was like insinuous. Like,
well, no, but we had a very long-term relationship. We actually dated for 6, 7, 8 years almost.
Yeah, Daddy, and it was weird. Her house felt weird. Like she was like the Wicked Witch of the West. She was so you could tell she was the one that treated waitresses and waiters with disdain. And like I don't like just thinking about her is like yuck. I never liked her. Uncle Jerome said he was not like you. He was on a smash and pass, and he was not actively looking for anything.
That's my boy, Ron. Yep.
Miss Moore, absolutely. Listen, Shanice, what's the girl name? I'll say her name because she knew I didn't like her then, and she could know I don't like her now. I was respectful because that was my daddy's girlfriend. I didn't disrespect her, but I didn't like her. I felt bad for her daughter.
And me and her daughter, we don't communicate a lot, but once every other year, she'll reach out and say, hey, how you doing? And things like that.
She hits me up on happy birthday. I get happy birthdays from her.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, and it really is like every other year. It's like, oh, happy birthday this year.
Yeah.
Miss Moore, you know what? If you were in Boston, I would hook you up with Mary Moore. My Eminem, she would have been like, I think that one would have been a good one. You and Eminem.
Oh, yeah.
But, the past is the past. I have an uncle.
Yeah. Bruh.
Actually, I do. I have an uncle. Hold on. Let me pull up a picture so you can see him. He's cute. Let me see if I can get Auntie Eminem. Ooh. I'm down for Auntie Eminem. So this is my daddy in the pink shirt, and that's Uncle Terry in the red shirt. Can you see it? Let me zoom in so you can see it.
Who, you showing it online or something?
Yep, I'm showing it to all of those that can hear. So my daddy is the one in the pink, and Uncle Terry is the one in the red. So you let me know. You let me know, Miss Mary. I'll hook you up. And you'll be Auntie Eminem. Okay, so Daddy, relationships.
Yeah.
What about the people that had relationships like early in life and realized like I've been in this I'm 30, I've been in a relationship since I was 15 and like I'm ready to not, because a lot of people, when you look at people today, like people have been in consistent relationships from like childhood. They never had alone time from being little. And so when you're like 17, 18, you have a little boyfriend, a little girlfriend, you know, then you have like a serious relationship in your 20s. And then you have like a real like, oh my gosh, they might be the one in your late 20s, early 30s. And then you're still single and you're like, well, maybe, just maybe I will be alone.
Mm-hmm. So dating from 15 to 20, that's, lack of a better term, that's child's play. You don't even know enough about your own stuff to know enough about somebody else, especially in this time in this world we live in now, where everything moves so fast. So 15 to 20, that's all child's play. 20 to 25, that's adult play. I would say 20 to 30, that's adult play. You've got a good taste of freedom. You're probably out on your own. You're experiencing life. You've got no restrictions to your coming in and going out because you're on your own. And now you're just trying to enjoy life. You're still not in that mindset, for the most part, about thinking about your future. Forget about, okay, so when I say future, I'm talking about your relationship-wise, and then your financial, your job, and just planning for that. You haven't even got that nailed down.
Mm-hmm.
So to sit back and say, okay, at 23, I'm going to get married, and nothing wrong with that. But you got to know that it's harder at that age because you're still experiencing so much of life. Then if you're still single, you get into your 30s, you've gone through several ups and downs, good relationships, bad relationships, good jobs, bad jobs.
Amen.
Now in your 30s, you've got a good sense of who you are and what you like and don't like and what you want, what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But you still may not be mentally ready for that relationship until you go in. See, our mind is strong. If we set our mind on any one thing, we can accomplish anything. You just got to set your mind to it. You got to have 100% desire. You know, if you desire to settle down and find a man or a woman, and you start looking honestly and being honest with yourself about what you want, I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight, but it may take 3, 4 years, 5 years, or longer.
Okay,
but
so Daddy, what are the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to know if you're ready?
Okay. 1, are you ready to be monogamous with one person? Are you ready to give up that lifestyle? Can you say, for the rest of my living days, I'm going to be with this one person only? And a lot of people, and for men, that's that taboo. That's the question of 90% of men be like, what? Oh, no, can't do that. Women tend to be able to do that more than men. Men have a tough time doing it because society says that we shouldn't be like that.
Because you guys want to just like spread your seed all over the world.
Well, that's what the world and society tells us we should. So when you live based off of what other people's influences are, we're all influenced by the information that we take in.
Mm-hmm.
My influences came from the world, so I was out there doing that. But then when I got more spiritual and I started looking at it from God's plan, I said, okay, well, let me do this the right way.
What does that mean? Looking at it from God's plan.
Okay, so God's plan is us to not have a monogamous relationship. Not to have a monogamous relationship, to not have premarital sex, to get with one person from whenever you get with them, as for men and women, to go to the wedding bed virgin.
Okay, so hold on, pause. That's God's plan. Sure. Daddy, let me ask you about did you get married and before premarital sex?
With Valerie?
Yes.
No.
Hold on, what? What if the sex was whack?
Okay, so here's how that works. Having already been sexually active is part of my life. And hers the same way, and anybody I've met at that from the time I was 20 on up. That's like saying Baby, do you know how to cook chicken?
I don't
You
like
know how to cook?
it, but yeah.
But you know how to cook, right? So you learn.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't sit back and say to me, if I'm dating you, that I don't know how to. I may not be bad at cooking, but you can learn to cook better.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you understand how to cook, but now you get with somebody and now you try to make what you already know better. It's only bad if you don't try to make it better.
Okay. But
Okay.
hold on, Daddy. I
Yeah.
met a gentleman and didn't enjoy the way he kissed. Like, he was a good dude. He made good money. He was a good father, but I didn't like the way he kissed. So
Okay.
like, and that
That
wasn't something I was willing to like. That's not something you can change. Like, that's what you do.
yes, it
Like,
is. Oh yes, it is. It is. You can change anything. See, when you go into a mindset that nothing can be, I hate that phrase. Can't teach an old dog new trick. That's BS. If the dog is willing to learn, if a person's willing to learn, to change, to adapt, that whole thing set. My another phrase I hate. I'm setting my ways. Now that means you're not willing to change and compromise. And if you say that to me, I'm setting my ways. I'm not compromising. I'm chucking the deuces up and I'm bouncing. And that was one of the reasons when I was dating, when I was talking to women, when they started talking, saying things like that. No, because if you're not willing to change and adapt to any situation, then you're gonna die. And I'm not. No. Mm-mm. Me and Valerie had an argument early in our dating, and she just said something to me that she didn't like something I did. And she said, I just know you said your ways, you're not going to change, so I'm just going to accept it. I said, the devil is a lie. You told me what I'm doing wrong. Now I have the choice. I either don't change and we deal with this and we have an unhappy marriage, or I do change and I make it better. And I changed. It was nothing. My mind is not set on being who I am. I'm all about being adaptable to any given situation.
Have you ever feel like you being adaptable? So was there anything adaptable that you had to change that altered the character of the man that you are?
Yeah, because there are things that I had to change about myself so that I can make my marriage better. Being more open, being able to talk more. I still struggle with it, but I know that that's something that I have to work with. You know. So
go ahead. I'm sorry, Daddy.
No. So to sit back and say that if I know I have an issue with something about me, and I decide I'm just that's how I am. Take it or leave it. No, you can't. People who do that and don't think that they can change or adapt, they're limiting themselves to that experience. And like you mentioned earlier, people say, "Oh man, what if this person is bad in bed or he's bad in bed?" Then teach them, make them better. You learn. You ask questions. Okay, if I'm not doing this the right way, then show me how to do this. I know how to drive a car. I know how to drive a stick. I'm not a race car driver by any means. But if I wanted to learn how to drive a race car, I'm going to learn. I'm going to take lessons from somebody. I know how to drive. I drive forever in a day.
You know how to drive Daddy, you are the reason why men that drive a particular way, like, to me, driving is like, I am attracted to really good drivers. Like that. Yeah. For some reason, for me, that's a deal breaker. If your ass can't drive, right. I don't know. Like, there's something about a man who can drive, who knows where he's going, that also reflects in like his life and being able to drive his life and, knowing his destination and being able to get there. So for me, like that, being able to drive, like whipping, not just driving, but being able to whip, being able to like zigzag in traffic if need be, being able to reverse on point, like that, all of that is, I enjoy it thoroughly. Daddy, we have some comments, and as far as the comments are concerned, so I don't know if you remember Titi Zala, but she's also known as the yoga preacher on YouTube. And she said, we have an epidemic, if you will, on single black people, women in particular. So many alpha females that are single and men with too many options. Margaret, Miss Eminem, said that she agreed as well. She said monogamy is very low and people are into polyamorous relationships now because it's trending. Elevation Allah said, what is an alpha female? TT Dallas said an alpha female is a woman who is a boss. Is an alpha female. She makes her own money. She has her own house. A woman who doesn't need a man but wants a man. And Quantum Generator said when women say strong woman, they mean being difficult. And Daddy, you know, we recently had this conversation about men calling women difficult. And he said hard-headed and unyielding sounds like a blast. And she said strong doesn't mean difficult. We need to stop saying that and, you know, correlating the two. And so long story short, she goes on, they go back and forth about like strong doesn't mean difficult, but we say all the time, like women are difficult when they are strong-headed. And when I asked you about being called difficult, you said,
okay, I can't remember what I say.
You can't remember what you said? Yo, Daddy, Elevation Allah said senior citizens' homes are filled with former alpha females.
Ouch. Blast. Yo,
that would hurt. That would hurt.
Yeah, that's a body shot.
Oh, shoot.
That's a body shot. But yeah, society has got so many rules and guidelines about what women should and shouldn't be, what's strong and what's not strong. And it's all about how you want to live your life. I mean, you can be a strong Black woman, but you still have to know how to be a woman first. And I
what does that mean, Father? You still have to learn how to. So, what does it mean to be a woman to a man?
Oh man, let me see. It's easy to say that phrase, but then to actually back it up with something more solid than just quoting the caption. Being a woman means you have to know. You have to understand your femininity. You know what makes you weak, what makes you strong, and then when a man does come in, allowing them that room to kind of, but to lead, so to speak, in a way. And sometimes what happens with women, they've gotten to the point where they rely so much on themselves that they just don't know how to sit back and play that second fiddle position. Because most of the men in their life haven't shown them the ability to take the lead. So for men now, we want the easiest path to you. We don't want the difficult path.
Well,
you know, people talk about. You understand?
I understand, Daddy. I do. I understand about, you know, being soft and.
No, I didn't say soft. Not soft. So being a woman and not saying being subservient to your man, but knowing that, okay, if he's supposed to be the king or the head of the house, he needs to lead and act like that. Your position needs to be equal to him, but let him have that lead role, and then you fall underneath that, and then your children will fall underneath you. Okay. So what happens a lot of times is men are reversing that. The women are just too dominant in the relationship where they're making all the decisions. The man is just going, okay, yep, that's fine, sure, because we don't want the confrontation. Sometimes we just have to step up and say, okay, look, we're going to do this way. And then you have to realize that if you trust him that he's making the right decision, then you can fall in line. Okay, great, you got it. You can still add your input. And as a man, I'm going to listen. Me and my wife, we sit back and we take an equal role in everything we do. We run everything by each other. But at the end of the day, sometimes I have to say to Val, okay, this is how we're going to do this, this is how we're going to do that. But I know my wife. I have a very smart wife. And I'll tell anybody, I think she's smarter than me. There's very few people that can pull the wool over my eyes or outthink or outtalk me. She's one of those. So that's what I love about her, because I can't I'll come to a conclusion, and then she's like, okay, yeah, but what about this? And I'll be like, you know what? I like yours better. Not that mine wasn't a good enough plan. She just has a little bit clarification, a little bit better thinking capacity. So she'll look at something and she'll be like, oh, well, let's look at it this way. And then sometimes I'll look at it, okay, yeah, you're right about that. That works. He's better than my plan. And we go with it. I'm not intimidated by that. I just say, okay, that is better than mine. And sometimes I'll have something that's better than hers.
Well, TT Dallas said that black men are not leading right now. So they're
not.
Oh, you agree that black men are not leading these households?
Of course, yes. For one, they don't know how. They've never seen it. A lot of us grew up in single-family houses, and all we saw the lead was a woman. So we saw what the woman lead, and we think that's how it's supposed to be. Oh, mama did this, mama did that, mama did this, mama did that. Yeah. Okay, so my wife is going to basically replace my mama, and she's going to lead and do those things.
Damn, daddy. Okay. What is this, an episode of Baby Boy? Dag. So as women, how do we... So you're right. There are a lot of black men, and not just black men, but men in general that aren't leading. And as women, seeing a man with potential, because I feel like a lot of us go for potential, like, oh, he could be all of these things and I could mold him. And then he's like, yo, I'm not trying to be molded, be like that. You're not going to just come in here and try and change me into the shape and form that you want me to be. And so females be falling in love with possibilities instead of actualities. And so when it does come to women, and the limit, it's like real estate. Like, men are like houses right now. There's so many buyers and not enough properties. And so with men being these properties, how do we find the one? Like, first of all, we have to only be mindful that there's only a handful out here that actually are actively engaging and looking for a wife. And then you have like the other 95% that's like Uncle Jerome and wants to smash and pass. Like, it sounds really difficult to be over 35 and dating right now, Daddy.
It does. And what happens is, for the few good women out there that may want to settle down and find that man, you got the rest of it. So you got 30% of the good women out there looking for a husband. You got 70% out there that are just gonna give it up to everybody just because that's just how society says you got to be that way. And so with the men out there, we know that. So now we run across that one of you 30% women that want to settle down, and you start stating what you're looking for, and we go, no, I'm not doing that. And we're gonna go and find that other 70%. Okay. That's my favorite saying in the movie, Why'd I Get Married? That 80-20 rule. So you're never going to find 100% of what you want in a person. You want to get at least that 80. But what helped me was that when I started dating, I was telling these women, I'm looking for a wife, I want to get married, I want to settle down. Let's try to abstain and let's see how that works as we get to grow and know each other besides that physical. Because once you get physical, that dilutes everything. That clouds everything. And for women,
because those are bear goggles. It's like, oh my gosh, I love him. Yeah. No, you don't. You just love the penis.
You're in love. Yeah. And it's not even that. You just love the act. You just love the act. Now, I'm not saying the act of sex, but just that whatever that line for, you base that everything. So now now you've done that act. And I've always said that's the best part of you as a woman. Your sexuality is the best part of that as a woman. So when a man gets that from you, he's gotten the best part of you. Let me ask you this: if your sexuality was worth $1 million, right at age 20, your sexuality was worth $1 million. The man had to pay you $1 million. No, I'm sorry, you had to give him $1 million. How likely are you going to sleep with just anybody?
I had to give him $1 million to smash. I'm smashing myself. That's nobody.
Man. You're gonna vet that one person out. You're gonna ask the questions. You're gonna make sure they got everything lined up right. And then and only then, after he's met every criteria, that you want, then you do that. See, a man's ultimate goal is to hit you, is to have sex. The question is how easy or how hard you're going to make that. And if you set certain guidelines about yourself up front, you're going to eliminate the ones that are just out there looking at hit and run. So, but not too many brothers out there want to do that. Society says you don't have to do that. Oh, well, you got to, how they say it, you got to test the water, you got to drive the car, you got to, do all this other stuff before, and that doesn't necessarily gauge that the relationship is going to be good because the sex was good. There's a lot of beautiful, wealthy, famous young ladies out right now in Hollywood, fine as all outdoors, got all the money in the world, and single as you are. Why is that?
Great question, Daddy. You want to tell me?
Why is that? It is rhetorical. You ain't got to answer it. But when you look at all these starlets, when you look at all these stars and famous people and women and all, they've got to look. I mean, they can sit back here and can have any man they want. Now, again, the men that want them only want them because they're stars. They just want to. Oh, I slept with this person. But if they sat back there and realized that, if I held myself a little bit higher standard and said I want a husband, guys will have to line up that meet that criteria. Now the ones that just want the sex, knowing that, I got to marry you and be with you for the rest of my life, I'm gonna pass on that out there. You fine, but you ain't that fine. But the ones that are willing to stick it out and know that this is gonna be a lifelong commitment, they're the ones that's gonna basically apply for the position. And see, one thing about where we are right now, as Black people, is that we don't have that leadership. We've lost that guidance. I love the fact that when I can look at my aunties and uncles, the ones that are still alive and have been married forever. My Aunt Kathleen and my Uncle Theodore, they've been married. They're both in their 90s and they're married for 80, 70 years. Love to see that. But outside of that, I don't have many friends my age that are married. I can name two. Uncle Jerome, my boy Jerome. Jerome, you can hear me. Shout out to his pop. I love that. And me and Jerome go way back. And his story is incredible. I'm not going to put him on blast. He knows what I'm talking about. He can hear me. But of all of my friends that I have, him, and I think, and I want to say, I know one more, but it'll come to me later. But that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know a lot of people married that have been married 10, 15 years.
No.
Well, now that I've been married for the last 5 years, my circle of friends changed. I've got that I know now being married. Yeah, I've got a couple of coworkers that I know that have been married, 10, 12, 15 years. But I just met these folks. I'm talking folks I've known going back 10, 15, 20 years that I grew up with. None.
But who's in a relationship that's like a marriage, though? I can name a bunch of those people who've been together for years and years, but aren't technically married.
Yeah. Now, I don't even know a lot of those now. I don't know too many of my friends that are in long-term marriages. Now, I've got cousins that I can name that have been married for a long time. I got tons of cousins, and that's when I look at their marriages. That's okay. Look, if they can do it, I know I can do it. But when I look at those marriages, I know one thing that they all have in common: they're very spiritual. There's a very sense of religion and strong belief in God in all of their marriages. And I think that is the key to any marriage. Any marriage that, and it's funny, any marriage that doesn't have God in it is going to have a tough time to survive. Because the world says, oh, you did one thing wrong, or you did this wrong, I don't like how you did this, I'm out. Deuces. And when you get into a relationship outside of that, where you don't hold yourself accountable and know that it's a long-term thing, then yes. I'm not saying all religious people marriages work out. They don't. But most tend to work out for the better.
More often than not. Well, Daddy, we're coming to the top of the hour. Elevation Allah. So I played a clip earlier of Joe Biden talking to some Haitian young girls that were 8, 9, maybe like 14 and 15. And he was like, and I want to see you dancing in 4 years. I'm coming back. And when I do, I want to see you dancing when you're 4 years older. And so apparently me being creeped out by Joe Biden telling little girls he want to see them dance in 4 years isn't equivalent to you and I, two adults having a conversation about relationship and sex. And so I just wanted to clarify that I do not agree with that statement. Joe Biden being a creep talking to little girls, talking about he want to watch them dance in 4 years is completely different than having an open dialogue with my daddy about relationship and sex at 35 years old.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't see that clip at all.
No, you don't want to see it. It weirded me out. As far as other comments are concerned, Quantum Generator said he has over 9 figures of disposable income in his savings, no debt, good health, no kids. What's missing from my life? ? Someone to sit at my place all day, making a mess, spending all my money and yelling at me and not giving me sex when I get home. No, thank you.
Yep. Now, what he's doing in his position, because he's got a lot of attraction that some folks will say the winning team to become a part of, he's really got to vet hard. He's really got to sit back and ask questions and make sure
that she got her own.
Well, it's not so much her own. She can come to him with nothing. It's not about what she has. And that's that. Let me tell you, but this, she's got to bring equal amount. Well, that's going to be hard to do. And same thing for women that are super successful to say, I need a man on my level. Men on your level may not want you because you're on their level. They want somebody less. But when you are in a position, that's like dating somebody famous. It's hard to do that because there's a lot of distractions and a lot of things that can go wrong in that relationship. When you're wealthy, you're well off, and you make good money, there are some folks that are gravitating to you just because you got that. And they see you as a meal ticket. And you have to learn to discern, okay, are they here for me or are they here for my money? Are they here for me or are they here for my fame? Sports athletes are notorious for picking the wrong women. Notorious.
I just had that conversation the other day, and not just notorious for picking the wrong woman, but they don't have any sense of financial stability and budgeting. And like, they don't even have the wherewithal to like buy a house rather than having multiple condos or apartments everywhere. So we talked about that too.
But yeah, tell brother man, just take his time. Don't be in a rush. Vet these women out, and as much as possible, this may go against everything he may think. Keep sex away as long as you can, because that's going to confuse everything. Sometimes it confuses the men. It's definitely going to confuse it in women. And just, you got to ask questions to see where their head is. Look at their family structure. How do they treat their family members? What is their relationship with their siblings, their mom and dad, or any other close members of their family? How do their friends act? Birds of a feather flock together. So when you start seeing them with people, look around and see how they're acting, because they're going to mimic the environment that they're in.
Daddy, I love you so much.
I love you too, baby girl.
I might call you next Wednesday too.
Best day Thursday because I'm off.
I know. Thank you so much for all the advice, Daddy. We love you. We appreciate you. And we hope you have an amazing day.
I will. Be good. Be safe. Tell the kids I said hi. I'll give a kiss them.
I will.
All right, babe. Bye.
All right, bye. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. That was my daddy. That's my real father. And he was just talking to us about relationships and life. And I love speaking with him. And I rent him out to my friends, not for money, but a lot of my friends call my daddy and get advice from my daddy. And I share him because I feel like I am the luckiest girl in the whole wide world. I remember my sister has a weird dynamic with her mom. Her mom doesn't exist in her life. And so, she had this in middle school, this little girl was like, my mom did this and my mom did that. And all her friends were like, my mom, my mom, my mom, my mom, my mom. And then she was really saddened by that because she didn't have someone named mom in her life doing these things with her. And so my dad spent like this whole weekend doing all these great daddy things with her. And on Monday, she was just like, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy. And none of her friends could say that. And so, like, my daddy makes sure he goes above and beyond. Him and I had a conversation when I was young. And I told him, like, it's not fair that other kids' dads get to go to, field trips and spend time with them and get to do this. And I hated that I lived with my mom and my stepdad. And so my dad came to like all my, like, he came back to back to back. Anytime I had a field trip, he was there. My daddy was there. I was driving in the car with my daddy. My friends want to come. They don't have permission. Like special treatment, special lunches. Shout out to all of the daddies that go above and beyond, because mama's baby, daddy's maybe. And a lot of y'all, if you wanted to, could walk away with absolutely that. Look at my daddy. With absolutely nothing being asked of them. And a lot of these men that aren't even on child support, like they don't do nothing ever, like don't contribute nothing to a child. So for those daddies that do go above and beyond, shout out to you. Shout out to the moms that allow these daddies to go above and beyond, because even though there's a lot of deadbeats, there's a lot of men that want to be engaged and not allowed to because of the women that they chose to have children with. And so I am Tayla Andre, everything Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre. Don't forget to get, this is Soul Naked. Oh, you see the little black lady meditating, aligning her chakras. This is one of the t-shirts that you can get on the website. This is the hoodie. It is embroidered. I love this hoodie. It's so dope. It's so thick. It's so snuggly. It's on the website. The book is on the website. Finally Home, TaylaAndre. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Shout out to the comments. The comments was on fleek today. Y'all were going in back and forth. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but you guys have to like talk to each other elsewhere, because we about to shut this down. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mwah. Don't forget to download the app.